Hello YouTube, Ken Hao here with another Black Desert Online video for you. And in today's video we're going to be talking about a new piece of content that was released with last Wednesday's patch. And that is they're calling the literal translation of the name from Korean apparently is Immortal Hell. But that sounds like a silly name to me, so I'm going to be referring to it as Immortal Arena, which sounds a lot cooler. And it's pretty much what it is. It is an arena where you go and fight monsters for rewards. And as I said, it was released last weekend. As promised, I went and did a quest line on stream with the crew, and I had a chance to check it out on the last couple of days. And I'm going to be telling you how to access and what it is and what you get from it. And my first thoughts, my first impressions, and this is all what this video is going to be. First impressions, because of how the way the game mode is designed, I have not been able to fully experience it yet. But I will continue to go through it, and if I feel like there's need for further videos, I will go ahead and make those videos for you guys. Alright, so let's start by going over how to get access to the Immortal Arena and where it is. And you get access by doing a level 56 quest that you can get from your Black Spirit. You just talk to your Black Spirit and he'll give it to you as long as you're level 56. And from my understanding, it's a family quest, so as long as you do it with one character, it will be available to all your other characters. And the quest is pretty straightforward, just takes you from a few places to go around talking to a few NPCs. And nothing too challenging up until the last part where you end up going to Crow's Nest and fighting your first wave of 5 elite mobs in the arena itself. And if you don't know where Crow's Nest, I'm sure that most people by now, as long as you've been doing borrowing for any amount of time, you know where Crow's Nest is, but I'll show you on the map right here. Crow's Nest is in the middle of the ocean. It's not, you cannot auto path there, but you can auto path close enough. You know, Valia is right here. Everybody knows Valia, and is northeast of Valia, right over here. And if you click, it doesn't really let you auto path as I mentioned, but you can auto path somewhere around here if you're coming from Valia, and then just go north to the island. It's pretty straightforward, pretty easy to get there, so there shouldn't be any trouble. The trouble starts really when the fighting starts once you get in there. And the first 3 NPCs are fairly straightforward and not too hard. The 4th NPC, at least in my case, I don't know if they alternate, I don't know if they're randomly organized, but the 4th one is the elite from Gahaz with a few changes. Once she hits a certain threshold on her HP, she will disappear and summon 3 shadows, and you have to figure out which the right one is to kill. And once you kill the right one, she will reappear and the shadows will disappear. The problem is if you kill the wrong one, the 3 shadows will reset at full HP, and you're gonna have to find the right one again. And you only have 10 minutes to kill each of these mobs. You are on a timer, so if you keep messing up, I ended up messing up because first of all I didn't know what the mechanic was, so I kind of had to figure out on my own and guess it. But once I figured out, I was able to defeat her with not too much trouble. And the last enemy is a Succession Warrior NPC, and it's pretty straightforward. It's just very tanky, and I believe he's immune for some of the battle, but you have to find ways to knock him down and stun him while he is vulnerable, and then you're able to do quite a lot of damage when he is knocked down, especially if you have a lot of down attack. As a class that has a lot of down attack. Once you finish the quest of 5 NPCs, the quest is pretty much over, and that's when the piece of content actually opens up to you and you can start actually participating and getting the rewards. Now that's where the problem also starts, in my opinion, because it turns out that you can only attempt the fights once a day, and as you've seen some of the footage that I'm going to be putting here, you can die fairly quickly. My gear, I'm sitting in all tet gear, so my gear is definitely not beginner. It's not as good as it could be. It's not the best gear in the world, but I am sitting in 265 AP and 312 DP. So it's definitely decent gear, but some of the bosses, some of the mobs in there can kill you very quickly, especially one the Shoals NPC. He has a few attacks that will one-hit KO you pretty much, at least at my gear level, with the Calx draft, the Calx potion that gives you more damage reduction. So if you get unlucky to die early on, you have to wait until the reset next day. So it's kind of been a disappointment to me. If you're expecting this to be a kind of content where you can go and spend all day playing it, The only way you're going to be able to spend all day playing it is if somehow you manage to never die. And because you can only do it once a day, your ability to practice against mobs and figuring out their mechanics is also really limited. You're probably going to have to go and look up videos online and guides online if you want to be able to go through all the enemies without dying and spending days resetting and learning the mechanics yourself. Now, the mechanics are not really that difficult to guess. The hardest one that I found really was the Gahaz one, which I didn't know if I had to kill all 3 shadows at once or if I had to find the right shadow at once. And even once I found the right shadow, it was a little hard to identify which one the right one is. But, you know, if I've died twice to the Shell Elite because I didn't realize that he could one-hit kill me, and he can one-hit kill me from quite the distance. So it can be quite frustrating to go through this. So this is not really, from my point of view, is not really a new piece of content as much as it is a daily quest. You're going to have to come all the way to Crow's Nest if you want to access the arena, and you can only come here once a day to get the rewards. And then you know, if you die, you have to give up and come back next day. So definitely, even though it's a level 56 quest, this is not beginner-friendly content. I wouldn't even dream to come here if you have any less than 300 DP and probably the same amount of AP as I have, 265 or 260, somewhere around that range, because the fights, from what I understand, are timed, and if you don't finish them within those 10 minutes, you are going to fail and have to wait for the reset on the next day as well. So really is a missed opportunity as far as adding new content to the game. This is just really another daily quest where you go and kill as many mobs as you can to get the rewards. And then once you finish, you go back to grinding. It's not something that you can spend all day here in Crow's Nest challenging mobs over and over and failing and then trying again to see how high you can get. So really a missed opportunity there, in my opinion, on Pro Abyss to give us content instead of just gave us a daily quest where you come and fight NPCs. It's a good idea. The NPC fights are pretty cool. I fought quite a number of interesting NPCs there. But the mechanics are interesting, not overly complicated. You know, if you're experienced raider in other MMORPGs, you are not going to have too much time with them. But as far as BDO combat is, AI combat is, it's pretty cool. A nice change of pace. But again, they need to allow us to go more than once a day. Because just coming here and do a few fights and then go home is quite a trip here to Crow's Nest. So I doubt most people want to come here and spend the time, go back, especially considering the rewards, which we're gonna go over the rewards here in a minute. But one other thing also that I wanted to mention is that for some reason they decided to make the arena area where you fight the NPCs a non-safe zone, which means that people can PK you in there. And I was actually killed at once by someone from a guild where my guild is at war with that guild, and I didn't notice they were there, and they just killed me on the spot without me even noticing. Next thing I know, I was dead. Luckily, it wasn't. It was before I had started the actual daily part. I was still doing the quest. While you're doing the first quest to open up, if you die, you can keep resetting the enemy and retrying again. But once you finish the main quest and you are in the actual part of the open content, if you die once to the boss, that's when you have to restart. So I assume that if someone kills you in there, that also means that you're going to fail and you're going to have to wait for the next reset. So you know, you can be sure that people will be griefing you in the lands outside of Korea. I don't think a lot of Korean people will be PKing people at random here, but from what I hear from the other servers, people are a lot more willing to grief and go annoy people who are just trying to get through the content in the game. So they really need to make the arena a safe area. There's no reason. This is a PvE piece of content. It's one of the few pieces of PvE content that we have in BDO. So there's no reason, in my opinion, for them to allow people to go in there and kill you, especially considering that there is not really enough, the content itself is not really rewarding enough to warrant that kind of extra risk. So speaking of rewards, let's talk about the rewards here. And I've done this, right now there's a daily quest, which is going to give you 10 of the coins, and the rewards that you get are these coins called the Immortal Seals, or Immortal, I don't know how they're going to translate this, but Immortal Coins or Immortal Seals, whatever they end up being in English. And you get 10 from this daily, plus you get 10 from each one of these mobs that you kill. And then you go to the NPC, and the NPC will allow you to, now you can trade those seals for rewards. And sadly, the rewards right now are pretty underwhelming. So for two coins, you can get those juices. One of those juices that allow you to increase your health, or your weight carry, or your underwater breath. For 30 of these coins, you can get a bag of 1 to 5 cron stones. So 30 of these coins is 3 of the NPCs, 3 of the mobs, of the bosses that you have to kill. So you get 1 to 5 cron stones, let's say 2.5 cron stones on average for every 3 enemies that you kill. And each enemy will take you probably, I don't know, so 3 to 5 minutes depending on your gear, maybe 2 to 5 minutes depending on your gear. And then for 50, you get a bag of those crow's nest coins, I believe 100 to 120. And then for 100 of these coins, which means killing 10 of these mobs, they are giving you a loot scroll, a green loot scroll for 30 minutes, which means if you want to grind for an hour with the loot scroll from this arena, you have to kill 20 of these monsters, of the NPCs in the arena, to be able to grind for 1 hour with loot scroll. And then for 350 of the coins, they are giving you the accessory box, which lets you get, I believe is a crescent, an ogre ring, or a bazzy belt, a random loot box for 300. So 35 of these mobs you're going to kill, which is going to take you at least an hour, probably, right? Because 2 minutes times, let's say it takes you 2 minutes to kill. It's going to take you 2 hours to, because even if you kill the mobs within a minute, you still have to wait for the next mob to spawn, and that takes a little bit of time. So it's going to take you at least an hour, let's say, to get these 350 seals, if you can even kill 35 of these mobs in one day. And that, for the price of a bazzy belt or ogre ring, it's a joke. And then the last rewards are 200 of the coins for a device of Valk's loot box, or a random RNG box, for 25 to 35. So if you gotta kill 20 of these mobs to get a 25 to 35 device of Valk's box. And for 500 seals, or 50 of these mobs, although maybe the higher level mobs will give you more coins, but they'll obviously take longer to kill. So time-wise, it will probably be about the same. So let's count 50 mobs to get a 40 to 60 device of Valk's loot box, or RNG box. So 50 mobs, you're looking at least easily 2 hours there to kill all these. For a 40 to 60 fail stack RNG box, I mean, if you hate fail stacking like I do, this may or may not be worth it. I hate fail stacking, but I still don't think coming here for 2 hours for one box, 40 to 60, is worth it. I mean, you can do a lot with 2 hours of game time. You can probably make these fail stacks in less time if you had the patience to go ahead and mash black stones into gear. 2 hours for one loot box, 140 to 60 loot box. I don't know about that. So the rewards are really lacking, and the ability to actually for you to play this content is also lacking. So it's really unfortunate they introduced this game mode like this. I was really looking forward to it, and I still do really like the style of play, going to the arena and fighting those mobs. It's just that unfortunately, you can only go once a day, so you gotta go all the way here to Crow's Nest and then fight, and then go all the way back to whatever you're doing. And two, the rewards really are not there. So the ability. So it's really a shame. My first impression is it's really a shame. It's really a missed opportunity, as I mentioned before, that they added a cool game mode like this. That it is pretty cool. I enjoy the fights when I actually am fighting. I do enjoy being there, and I wish I could do more of it. But unfortunately, once you die, you're done for the day, and you have to go back to the good old BDO grinding or bartering or whatever it is that you were doing before. So like I said before, it's not really a new game mode, just another thing to turn this game more into something that looks like, it feels like a job than a game. And I hate dailies. I hate having the feeling that I have to do the same things every day to progress in the game. That's why I quit Lost Ark. That game was a laundry list of things that you have to do every day just to keep up and progress with the game. BDO is not, in my opinion, not about that. BDO is all about the open world and being able to do whatever you want, whenever you want. Being limited by daily quest for this game mode here is a really big miss for me. Let's hope they change that. Let's hope they add ways for you to reset your account, even if you had to your daily, I don't know, let's just be able to do more fights if you fail, even if you have to pay crow's nest coins or some other kind of currency to let you reset. That might be a way to save this game mode. Again, the rewards are not that fantastic, so I doubt that allowing people to keep trying even if they fail would break the game, especially because if you fail, you're not getting rewards, you're still wasting time, but you're still having fun and enjoying the game and learning and improving and learning to play your class, really, right? This is the only other way besides going to PvP that will allow you to play your class, because most of the grinding zones are mindless grinds, really, except for maybe a few of the high-end game zones where you actually have to pay attention. So it's a good way for you to get better your reflexes and dodging and paying attention to what's going on around you and learning what attacks are better for your class as well. So let's hope that they change these things. Let's hope they make this less of a daily and more of a new actual content. And let's hope that they actually give us more interesting rewards, because right now the rewards are nothing new and are nothing really too interesting. But yeah, like I said, I'll keep coming here every day for the next couple of weeks, or at least until I get bored of it, to see if my opinion changes. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But right now, really, I think they have a lot of work to do to fix this game mode. But yeah, that's all that I want to say about the new Immortal Arena. If you liked the video and thought it was informative, I'd appreciate it if you could hit that like button. If you want to see more video content from me, don't forget to subscribe. And also come join our Discord community and our Twitch streams. Links for all those things down below. And that's going to be it for me from now. And I'll catch you on the next one. Take care.